Right, on the bench, what we got here today. Looks like Mr. Lewis Ringway Manchester has sent me some CB radios to look at. He said both weren't working, and these are nice, the Binatone Route 66. So I think we'll look at the Binatone Route 66 first and see what's wrong with it. The front of this is lovely and clean. I wonder if Lewis had noticed if I swapped it for my one. But anyway, yeah, this is tidy. Let's plug it in. First thing I always like to see is a factory original microphone there. It's for the Binatone Route 66. So we will check that to make sure that's working correctly as well, because I think he said he wasn't getting any receive. But let's just plug it in. We've also got the original power lead as well, which you often don't see. For some reason people eat them or something. I'm not sure quite where they go. Alright, super tidy in this radio. And they did do two versions of this one. I think this is the later version. But we can see straight away a few issues. No meter lamp, so we'll have to sort that for him. But there's no audio. I think that was one of the issues that he mentioned when he spoke to me. We've got the volume up there, TX power on high. We've got display at least, and we've got digits there, but we've got no audio. So let's see where the audio is going. So if you're not getting any receive audio on RX, plug it into the PA speaker, which there's the audio IC for the CV down there. I'm plugging it into this so we can test the PA function. So 1 2 1 2 check. So we know that the audio IC is okay, because we wouldn't be getting the PA function, so it's something to do with the receive, and it might be even something as simple as just the connections in the microphone which form part of the receive circuit not being connected. So we can link that out just to check that really quick. Right, so what I did, rather than link it out, is I've got a Route 66 as well, and I just picked my microphone up, and straight away we can see there's got a crackle. The volume on off switch has got a bit of a crackle to it, but straight away we can see when we turn it on, we've got volume now. So all that was, see, a lot of people do this. They turn the radios on and they don't hear anything, and they think there's something really, really wrong with them. But very often it is literally just the microphone or the microphone connection. So let's break the microphone. I mean, the microphone looks really in good nick, but it's obviously not right. So let's pop the microphone apart and see why. So before we take it apart, we can actually check with a meter. And on this mic plug, 1 and 2 is the receive. So that is a switch contact inside the mic, which enables the receive circuit in the radio. And you can see there we've got 0.6 of an ohm, and this is the working microphone. And if we check Lewis's microphone, I think we'll find that there's no connection there. Yep, so there's Lewis's microphone. Absolutely no connection. So the problem is either in this plug, which is often the case, or it's in the microphone. Sometimes it can simply be just a wire broken off inside there, but I always like to take these apart and clean them anyway and give them a switch clean, so we'll do that next. This is the sort of thing you will face. You'll find you'll have a really, really nice radio and a nice mic and everything. You'll think, oh, it couldn't possibly be a problem in there, and you find Uncle Charlie's mate with one arm and blind in one eye has been at the plug. You immediately know someone's been in there when you see gaffer tape, insulation tape wrapped around things. So yeah, this microphone definitely wasn't going to be working, but it will be in a minute. Right, now we got receive, and we got transmit, although it's not going into transmit. That's the next problem to sort out. It's jumping in and out. So we've got receive now with the factory mic. Let's work out why it's not going into transmit. Right, we can't really take any meaningful measurements in terms of power and frequency and stuff, which we like to do, until we can get it to go into transmit. Now, looking at the back of the board, it looks fairly clean. It doesn't look like it's had any soldering irons in here. Uncle Tom Cobley's one-armed mate hasn't been around the CB, so it seems, but he's definitely been in the mic, which we've fixed. So I don't think, looking at this, there's an issue with the PCB. I will start to probe around and see why we're not going into transmit on the circuit board side. Right, what we will actually do is check receive, because we know halfway there if we're getting receive anyway. So we've got a signal here. This is going to produce a signal on channel 20 at a S9 signal level. So this is what you'd expect a £9 signal to be on a CB, and we'll see if the radio receives it. So we can just pop that on quickly. As you can see there, we've got the tone. We'll just turn that down. It can get a bit annoying. And then we will put the Cyanide Meter on, which is this meter here, which detects the quality of the signal without going into it too deeply. Look them up, but very, very useful. So we'll use the Cyanide Meter to detect how sensitive the receiver is. Okay, so let's have a look at the front meter. Well, it's pegging off the scale there, the front meter, so that'll need adjusting. But let's just see how sensitive this radio is. Right, we're putting out 0.35 of a microvolt, and we're getting 12 decibel cyanide on the Cyanide Meter here, so that's actually pretty respectable for one of these. So I'm very happy that the receive isn't going to really need much alignment there, but we do need to establish why we're not getting transmit. So we know that the oscillator is working okay, we're receiving okay, we just need to find out why we're not latching into transmit now. I can't get it to go into transmit, but I think I might see a problem. Let me zoom in on that capacitor there. See, that's let go, hasn't it? So let's address that first anyway before we go any further. But I'm just aligning the PLL section according to the service manual, so do that first though. Yeah, I mean, it's very definitely not supposed to look like that. We'll put it in my little capacitor tester before we change it anyway. It's supposed to be 1 microfarad, 50 volts. Let's check it out. Push the start button, little testing thing comes up. It's supposed to be oh, it's found it as a resistor. So yeah, it's definitely not very capacitive, is it? Right, got RF power now. You need a proper circuit diagram when you're working on CB radios, and you also need to understand exactly what's going on the circuit diagrams, and that has taken some time to diagnose and repair that problem. But we found the problem with a couple of diodes down here. Now, quite why they've gone, I don't know, which is unusual, but the this can happen. It's something to bear in mind when you see CBs going super cheap on eBay. You may not be able to fix them, and even the most skilled of people sometimes can't spot the, find the faults. It can take a very long time. Right, we've also sorted the bulb. They often go. We've replaced that with a proper bulb as well, not an LED, which always look nicer. And yeah, we'll go for the power on channel 20 here, and we'll pop up to the power meter. We're on the 20 watt scale, and we're looking for 4 watts, and it's bang on 4 watts. And I've actually aligned this off camera, and there are other videos online. Richard from UK CB Servicing, who goes through that, so I'm not going to do that on camera, but that's absolutely on the nail, 4 watts. So let's look at what modulation is doing. Right, we're looking at the top line, the red line. We're looking between 2 and 2.5. 1, 2, 1, 2. So yeah, that's spot on. Also aligned the power needle there on transmit, and we've also done that on receive off camera as well. And on transmit there we're doing 27.79126, which is channel 20. That's absolutely spot on. So let's pop it on the signal generator and see what performance we're getting on receive. Right, we've set the sig gen on 0.32 of a microvolt, and that's at 12 decibels cyanide, right in the middle there. So this is pretty sensitive. That's a pretty reasonable result, 0.32 of a microvolt. Let's just see how far down we can take it, and we can still hear it. So we'll turn it up a bit. Let's try lowering it. So there, you can still pick that up to 0.1 of a microvolt. So that's pretty sensitive. These may well have been a bit of a bleed over box back in the day, but you should be well good with that, Lewis. And what we will do now is a low and high power test. We put the power meter back, so we're on high. We've already seen that it's doing 4 watts. We'll stick it to low, and the power meter there is gone on the low side, and there we go, 0.4 of a watt. Let's just change scales. There you go, 0.4 of a watt, absolutely spot on. And that is up there, you might have spotted it, it's been flashed around, that's my homemade cyanide meter. I should do a video about that at some point. It's absolutely fantastic, really pleased with that. 3D printed case, circuit board inside. It basically does exactly what this does in that little unit, and it is as sensitive, in fact it reacts quicker than the original cyanide meter. So but it's you know, it's not obviously a lab accurate bit of gear like this is, but it's nonetheless very useful. So if anyone's interested, I'll do a video on that. It cost me about 15 quid to make, so a lot cheaper than 200 plus some people are asking for cyanide meters now. Right, the Binatone Route 66.
Yeah, okay, I am recording as well, so whatever you say, I've got a copy of it.
Whatever you say, I've got a copy of it.
Okay, Mick, yeah, thanks for that. I'd say we've got the Binatone Route 66. This was a lot more work to get working than I suspected it would be. Again, the usual thing, we get 2 CBs in, and the immaculate CB is a pain, it doesn't work, and the really rough looking CB, it just needs a setup, and that's often the case. The reason these CBs look good is because they stopped working 40 years ago and were put in a box and they've not been used. However, the ones that have been used tend to work, so that's the way I often see these things come in.
Right, that's the old Binatone Route 66 all sorted and ready to send back to Lewis. Now stick it in the box. It's all yours, Lewis.